from all of you, I managed to start changing the funding formulas to make sure that areas like this are getting the funding that they deserve. Because we inherited a bunch of formulas from the Labour Party that shoved all the funding into deprived urban areas, then that needed to be undone. I started the work of undoing that.
Hello, and in this video I want to cover Rishi Sunak. He came up with this genius idea that if you are poorly, forget going to the doctors, because he's going to remove the powers from the GPs. So if you are unwell, okay, then you still turn up to work, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be given any medication. You're not going to be given, any medical supervision. You couldn't make this up. This is straight from a horror movie. Straight from a horror movie. That here you're studying to become a doctor. 10 years, max. You're told that your professionalism, takes second place to politics. Your professionalism takes second place to politics, because he wants his cronies, to implement fake reports, especially if you're poorly and you are going for assistance. They're going to remove all the doctors, from PIP, etc., and they're going to put in place, people who've been on day courses, and it's going to be orchestrated. That they're not going to be in your favor. Now, what's interesting, the white working class people, they voted this. They vote. You cannot feel sorry for them. They thought that when they voted Brexit, they thought the government loved them. They thought that it was, it was because at the end of the day, it was going to be a land of plenty, a land of milk and honey. Says what's his name, the composer, Elgar, land of hope and glory, and they had that in their mind. It was about white love, white unity, white family, not realizing that at the end of the day, it's always about the super rich. These English people don't know the history of the workhouses. They really thought a time existed when they had plenty. They really thought a time existed when their families didn't starve or were sold off to the workhouses. They really believe that the government regard them to be important. This is what happens when you refuse to read, and this is what happens when you're governed by emotionalism and you allow the government to manipulate you. That's about because you're white, you're special. Really? Now they're going to work their fingers to the bone like they did African slavery. Now they're going to... Come on, Doc, leave me alone. Right? We see the Doc right there. Can you see? He's got me. Blinking brute. Right? Yeah, in fact, I'll just do that. There he is. Yeah, right? So, what's happening now? You can't even go to your GP. This is the Tory government. People have, according to Theresa May, people have accused us as being heartless in the past. People have accused us of having no emotions, no compassion. And they've done a 3-point turn. And they've gone even worse. Why? You can't remove what you are by nature. They will always serve corporate companies. They come first. But somehow the white working class thought they got brainwashed that this whole Brexit thing was about them. And look at it now. It's come to bite them on their miserable, lazy ass. Because now you can't even see a GP. So what's the GP there for? Then your doctor's surgery now is becoming a political monopoly. You know, of that dog's got a baby somewhere. It's actually too protective, right? It's become political monopoly. You know, meaning that if you're unwell, you can't even see a doctor anymore. White working class voted. They voted this graveyard. They voted for this peril. They voted for their own destruction. Because you know something? They thought that it was all about getting rid of people like me. And in the end, they found out that really, when it comes down to it, the government only cares about the rich and the super rich. You know, but they will learn the hard way. They will learn the hard way. They're going to force you, when you're unwell, they're going to force you to have to, you know, grind, no matter what pain you're in, broken leg. You can't even see a doctor about it. That is serious. They're going to stop your statutory sick pay as well. You know, only the Tories can do that. What I think will shock you, you think that Labour is any better? Labour will continue these policies. They're not really enemies. They're not really different. They're the same. Two sides of the same coin. One's tails, the other's head. But it's the same destiny. You cannot be in government and not serve corporate interest. It's impossible. Same Tory party that are Zionist are the same Labour who are Zionist. They all sing from the same music sheet. They're not different. So you thinking, oh, let me vote Labour. You know, let me vote Labour and I'll be better off. Labour will continue the policies of Rishi Sunak. You know, the white working class, they prepared themselves a graveyard. That's what they've done. They became emotional because they allowed the government and the rich people to manipulate them, that they don't know who the enemies really are. Sooner or later, they will find out when it's too late.